Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Inside the Walls podcast. I am your host, Jim Ray, alongside me, my partner in crime, Matt Patton. And this week's edition, week 4, we are joined by none other than head coach Richard Davis of the Oklahoma Flying Aces, as he will break down what his team has to do to get the dub in Sioux City. Round 2 of that matchup, seeing that they previously meet. Later in the episode, we'll get into the conversation of the Carolina Cobras and the Colorado Spartans, and we'll let you guys be on this lovely Thursday night here in the great country that we live in, the United States of America. No further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here is the head coach of the Oklahoma Flying Aces, none other than Richard Davis. Coach, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How are you?
First off, Coach, your schedule's been kind of ironic. You play a game, then you off. As a coach, how hard is that to balance out, especially a team of full players?
It was tough. I wouldn't have drawn it up that way, but in the world we live in minor league sports, things aren't always perfect. You've got to kind of roll with some punches at times. And our league had gotten into a situation where we needed to reboot, if you will. We have strong leadership, and we took some pretty strong action with removing a couple teams that was necessary. It was good. And there's a backstory by why they even got there. Everyone thinks they know, but they don't. And in our league, trying to grow, we put ourselves out there and knew there would be some bumps in the road. And sure enough, we ran into a couple early. Comparatively, we were pretty upfront with ours. Our commissioner, Todd Walkenhorst, went out and made all that public, and we addressed that. And the byproduct of that, guys, is we had a schedule problem, just a math issue. We had certain teams with certain needs, previous requirements from their leagues, their buildings, various other aspects that needed to be settled. Long story short, it came down to we were within striking range of everyone being happy, but it was going to require somebody to step up and fill a hole early. And I just said, you know what, let's do it. I love the league. I believe in this league. I believe in our partners. In this particular instance, we're talking about the Sioux City franchise. Don Belson, their owner, I consider salt of the earth human being. I know that if my family were in need, Don would do what he could do to help. And so in that circumstance, I was happy that Oklahoma could be part of the solution. It caused a little early stress, if you will, for old Coach Davis. But we went in there, and make no mistake, it was not all a negative, guys. We came away with some very big positives, knowing that we did what we did in a 3-day practice window, learned a lot, came back, had a chance to make some changes, which we've done, a lot of adjustments, and made some changes of personnel. And now we'll go up for round 2, which in my eyes is, we're rolling our sleeves up, and this is our first real run at it.
Yeah, and you guys traveled that first time, March 15th, up to Sioux City, and you guys hung tight. I think that did surprise quite a few people, but without giving away too much, Coach, talk about how much different your team in general is going to be this week as you guys head to Sioux City.
A lot. Here's the deal. Irv and I, the head coach for Sioux City, and I are very, very close. I love Irv. Those guys are I consider them my friends. Marlon and those guys, I love them. We talk a lot. Not a ton of secrets in the league personnel-wise. We all see each other's transactions and whatnot. And so they know we made some big changes. Torrance Carr, I thought, did a fantastic job, a very admirable job at quarterback. And I was ready and prepared to continue on with him at quarterback because I saw enough in him that I thought we could. But we had a young man fall in our lap. And this kid's, I think, has a chance to be awfully, awfully good. And so believe it or not, I brought Torrance in, and he and I made the decision together. We looked at the film on him, and Torrance said, hey, let's get this guy in here. And he said, I want to win a championship. I'm almost done with my career. I want to do the best I can to win or take a shot at winning it. And if it says anything, I will tell you that about 10 minutes into the first practice, Torrance came jogging by me quietly and said, hey, we made the right decision. So we think in that regard, we're going to be a better football team there with Torrance back at receiver. We're better. we've gotten quite a few other pieces in that we think will help. So yeah, we're starting where we think we're starting is a little bit more competitive position, a lot more sorted out, if you will, and our guys have a little bit more confidence in what they're doing.
How's the community with the acceptance of the Aces coming back? Because I know Eden back like a couple years ago, it was popping, and then the organization went through some serious issues, and now how's the community again? Are they coming back together for the team?
They are, Jim. Enid's a really cool place, man. We're the Green Bay of indoor football. We really are. We're the smallest community. Maybe not the smallest, but we're not a large community. Matt's obviously proud of Omaha and all they've done, and we have an Omaha-esque presence, I think, in that our fans are very loyal. We don't have as many as Omaha does. We're not as a well-oiled machine in terms of the operation that Ricky does and it has those guys running up there, but we will be. Our fans allow that to happen. Our community embraces our product in an incredible way. And I'll be honest with you, maybe one of the differences in Enid versus some of the others is we're embraced upside down. They love our players first. Our players are big news here. They're big stories here. As an example, we've gone to 4 elementary schools this week in Enid public schools. We gave away season tickets to every child and teacher in every one of those schools, and we'll continue to do so. And not just a game ticket, season tickets. The building has allowed us to arrange our lease where that is if they take us up on that is a benefit to us from our business model. And so we're approaching the long-term success that way through the hearts and minds of the community. The last time I was here, we made over 200 appearances with our team, and we're on our way to do that again here. And so what will the overall long-term impact, I think, is our players lead the way. Our players are great ambassadors. This gives them a platform to grow as people. It doesn't push Coach Davis out front or whoever that may be. It's our guys. And I think it's a really special thing. And from there, we have to build and grow the organization, much like Omaha or Sioux City or everyone else has. And I think the long-term outlook here is very good.
That's incredible to hear. Being involved in the community is a huge thing here in Omaha as well. I know Sioux City does a lot of good things in the community. Coach, I personally would like to have a quick chat about Brett Mathis, your kicker. I've met Brett. Brett's such a cool dude, like just talking to him, man. And like he's been out of football for a while. So how'd you convince that guy to come back?
Well, so crazy here, Matt. I love Brett. Everybody knows that I trust that guy, and I tell our players all the time. Brett's got a talent in his own way, but one of the things that's his strength is if the game comes down, he's got to go out there and take a shot at winning it. Brett's gonna give it a ride. He's not gonna crumble. He's gonna throw it up there, and what happens. And I like those guys that won't shrink in the face of adversity. Now, as fate would have it, Matt, that is one of the changes. We did not have Brett the first week, and our results were, shall we say, we suffered because of not having Brett. I think that's an understatement if you watch the game. And unfortunately, Brett won't be with us this game either. He's got a life circumstance, a situation that is we're working through. But we were fortunate. We have picked up a veteran kicker, Jeremy Reynolds, who will be with us. And Jeremy's got a big guy, as everybody knows. So we've got a unique situation going on with kicker. We're lucky to have a couple guys that have encircled us, and I'm happy to have them both. Thankful to have them both.
That's bittersweet for me. Jeremy played for us a couple seasons ago in Omaha, was a part of that original championship team in 2021. So I'm glad to see him back on his feet, but shout out to Jeremy Reynolds real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't do that. So
Coach, last time you played Sioux City, it was neck and neck until about midway through the second quarter. They kind of slowly pulled away. Then you guys rushed back at a key turnover in the game that really flipped it. And it sounded like, from me as a spectator, it looked like you guys ran out of time, but you were starting to figure yourself out towards the end of the game. What are the type of adjustments that you need to make this week to get a win in Sioux City?
Oh gosh, Jim. I mean, first of all, when you play Irv and the Sioux City coaching staff, it's you've got your work cut out for you. I mean, the guy got his 100th career win against us in that win, and I tell him all the time, when you get 75 wins against me, that 100 wins isn't that impressive. But he's beating us like a drum. But I love the guy. They make you coach, man. I mean, you got to defend every section of the field. You got to know what you're doing, and you've got to get your guys in the right frame of mind, because they're going to just keep coming and keep coming. And so when you take that schematics that they have, add that to the fact that they've also got pretty darn good football players who play hard with a history of success, the challenge is there week after week with them, much like Omaha. I mean, if you go play Omaha, as Matt knows, there's just you're going to have to roll your sleeves up. They're not going to give you anything. They're going to keep coming. Sioux City is exactly the same way. So I think what we have to do is we've got to make sure that, are we matching that? Are we matching the next play mentality? Are we able to win the physical one-on-one battles? At the end of the day, my job is just to prepare the guys the best I can and give them the tools to succeed. The key here, though, is I hear so many young guys in today's world say, failure is not an option, or losing is not an option. Well, the truth is it is. It's always an option. If you fumble the football, if you throw an interception, you're choosing to lose. If you have a bunch of penalties, or if you are undisciplined, you're choosing to lose. And when you play those really good teams like Sioux City or Omaha, you give those guys an extra help or two in those categories, you've made it awfully tough for yourself. So now we've got to figure out, what do we do good? What do we do bad? We've got some new talent. Yes, I think we are talented. I will say comfortably, this is my most talented team that I've personally coached at this league, clear back to Bismarck when we were deep in it. We have a chance in terms of the pieces of the puzzle, but all that is easy to say, guys. I mean, it's great to talk about, but some teams seem to get over the hump and some teams don't, and we'll see if we can.
Yeah, one thing, Coach, that I've noticed as I've watched your teams, whether it was the Dodge City team when you guys came up and played in the CIF that season, or other teams that I've seen with you, is every single game that your team plays, your players, no matter what the score is, they're out there giving it their all, and they're out there just busting their butts and leaving it all on the field. So that, to me, as a fan, says a lot about you and your coaching staff. Talk about the rest of your coaching staff and how they help you to motivate these athletes.
Well, I mean, it is a us family thing here. We are a little undermanned staff wise, so we don't have as many folks as some of the others. But we kind of build a family culture. My job, really, I guess, is just sort of to set the standard, if you will, for that culture, and make sure that everybody's working towards that. But the staff themselves, obviously it starts with Mark Timberlake. Mark is our general manager. He lives here in Enid and knows everybody, man. That guy knows everybody in this community. But he is also on the football side and helps from that front. We've got a couple young coaches, Pat and Braylon, that we love. Braylon used to play for us before. He's a local coach here locally with Enid High School. Those two young men are. We've also got some folks that I don't know that everybody knows them just by Brian and Mike, and they do all these little things that nobody really knows what those things are, like fixing the helmet or making sure that guys have a ride from point A to point B. Our staff is made up of in some ways no superstars, just a bunch of hard workers. We put our blinders on and we try to all do whatever is necessary to the best we can. And I'm grateful that they're there. I'm appreciative. And, one note, we a little change for us that I actually talked to Duke on today, broke kind of that visit with him about that, but we have a new owner here that has not that really hasn't been made public. The board is voting him in. Joey Jones is his name, and it's interesting. He's an Oklahoma guy. I think he's going to be a fantastic owner for this team. He's going to put some resources into this and help us. But Joey's much like we are. He doesn't really want to be pushed out front. He just wants to be the guy that helps keep saw in the wood, so to speak, and put us in position to have a chance. That's really, at the end of the day, that's all you can do. I'd like to think our teams are always in it. We're going to fight. We're going to stay in it. And at some point, we'll punch through, and we'll be the one that starts to get the W's. I'd like to hope it comes soon, but we'll stay at it and figure it out from there.
It's nice that you guys are getting another ownership group. People don't understand the grind that happens in this industry of organizations. Like, it's not all sunshine and rainbows and mysterious anonymous owners. There's actually hardworking Americans actually get shit done. Excuse my language, but that has to happen.
Yeah.
But
it's
Coach,
tough, man. Yeah. So I was just gonna say it's tough, and when you're doing both, that coach owner thing, like, people, listen, man, that's just. I just wanted to make sure the Aces didn't fail on my watch, and I want to make sure all our bills are paid and all of our fans are happy. And thankfully, we've done that. I owe a kind of a shout out to my former partner, Craig Tyree, who left the organization and the community with all bills paid, with everything, all the graces of everyone's good graces. And it left that window open for us to come back. Had there been anything negative, I don't think we could have come back and been embraced, but we took care of that before. And so now the pathway's open for us. And so we'll see. I think we're going to go up Saturday. I think we'll play a much better ball game, a much cleaner game. But I also expect Sioux City to do the same thing. We got better, but so did they. So we'll see how it works out.
You looking forward to that first home game?
I am. I'm looking forward to it also in the sense that because I'm not the do-it-all guy this year. I'm not running the team. I'm not the owner of the team. I'm not, we've got other roles, people who are in some other roles that I can now support them in those roles and help them be successful. I can help give them the tools that they so deserve to go out and do their jobs better than I could. And so what that allows me to do, Jim, is for the first time in a very long time in my career, and I mean many, many years, this week I have been able to focus only on my football team. I've taken meetings in the afternoon with position groups. I've not done that in years past because, frankly, I was too busy out closing corporate deals or selling tickets or whatever the case may be from a corporate standpoint. So for me, it's a blessing, and I get to go back to coaching ball and seeing if I can get this ball club to go out there and get some W's.
Well, Coach, I wanted to say thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
I know you're busy. Road trip tomorrow, so go get some rest because road trips are road trips. No matter if it's just and Oklahoma's a big state, so but you're in the northern part of the state, but still it's a long travel.
Yeah. It's we need to get on the road. Our guys needed it. We need to go out there and play some games. And I do want to thank you guys for what you do. You guys are great for the industry. You're great for our league. You're tremendous ambassadors for our league. And make no mistake, that you've chosen the right side, Jim. You watch the people that want to take shots at us now. Just watch where we are this time next year. This league is. It's going to be here to stay. It's very credible, very professional people. Our league will do nothing but get better. And you all for belief in and participation in us now will be rewarded later. And I certainly appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you so much for that, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you guys.
Coach, go with your team. Go get some rest because that's a travel, man. Go get a W there in Sioux City tomorrow.
Sioux City, and I'm sure I'll
Saturday
see you.
Saturday night. That's right. Saturday.
Right. I'm sure I'll see you next week, Matt. So.
Yep. It sounds like it might be. So yeah, definitely. Coach, good luck. Genuinely, good luck. Safe travels. See you guys later.
Appreciate it, Coach. That was a great conversation with head coach Richard Davis of the Oklahoma Flying Aces. When we come back after this short break, ladies and gentlemen, we will get into stat breakdown of what's going on around the league. We'll break down Carolina and Colorado to wrap it up. Send questions in if you want, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here on Thursday night here in the National Arena League. If you're watching us on Facebook, hit that like, share that button. If you're watching us on YouTube, let us know that you're on YouTube. We'll be back after this for more Inside the Walls podcast. Intro so good, we gotta do it twice in the same night. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's look around the NAL after Week 4 standings. The Omaha Beef are on top of the NAL at 2-0, undefeated. 100% winning percentage, which is good. The playoffs started now. That's home field. Sioux City is also undefeated, right on the tails of Omaha. Carolina got a big bounce-back victory this last weekend against Idaho. They are 2-1. Colorado right there at 0-1. And Oklahoma Flying Aces at 0-1 there, so that's going to be an intriguing battle. That battle for that 4 seed is going to be exciting to watch for the remainder of the season, and I can't wait to break down the games as we get there. Here we go to the defensive tackle leaders. Solo tackle, sacks, interceptions, key contributors. We've seen people that we've seen last week stay in the standings. Again, if you're watching it on YouTube, you know some individuals there. Joe Powell, Ellen Anderson, Chris Perry, Gillis, to name a few individuals on defense. Here are your stat leaders entering Week 4 of the National Arena League. Here are your passing leaders. Guy Myers having a big game last week in the passing statistics, 552 for the season. He has 11 total touchdowns, but right behind him is number 10 from Omaha, Tommy Armstrong with 259 passing yards. And also he has 8 interceptions as well. And you guys share some loves. Torrance, as you know, was mentioned by Coach Davis. He's right there at 108. Looks like they got some more weaponry going into Oklahoma for this week. So that game in Sioux City is going to be intriguing, pretty juicy to follow as well. Rushing leaders. There's that Tommy Armstrong dude again. With the week off, maybe there'll be some more guys catching up to him, but other guys you want to mention here is James Summers enters the fold at the 5th place with 54 yards rushing. Torrance is up there as well with an average of 36 yards a game. And Adam Smith has he's tied with 6 touchdown with Tommy Armstrong as well. And let's go to the receiving yards. We talked about him just a second ago. Adam Smith, the guy went off again this past weekend against Idaho. Guy that got into the mix, I said last week, is Kendrick Ings. Keep an eye on him. He did. He had a bounce-back game after Omaha and actually got into the end zone a few times against Idaho last week. And that's your standings. If you're watching on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have this, and we'll be posting it on our social media here over the next couple of days for the updated stats throughout the league. We also want to make an announcement for next week's show here on Inside the Walls. You've seen his videos that have been popping on the National Arena League's YouTube page, Facebook account, Inside the Walls Network over the last couple of weeks. He will be with us next week, the entire show, and we'll have some other guests join the show next week as well. So Ducon Williams, a part of Around the NAL, will join us next week to help us break down NAL action for Week 5 and beyond. He will jump on his show, and I'll be jumping on his show from time to time and giving you guys coverage of the National Arena League throughout the 2024 season. So what's happening this weekend, ladies and gentlemen? Let's get into it. As you know, we had Coach Davis on earlier. The Oklahoma Flying Aces are traveling up to the Sioux City Bandits. That game is on Saturday night. Both games are on Saturday night. Apparently, the whole indoor and arena community all play games on Saturday night at the same time. It's incredible. Like, every league plays on the same time. I don't know why. Just feels like or a person like me who covers the game is like, ugh, it stinks because I go to my local team and support my team as well. Also going on at the same time, Coach Shaw and the Spartans traveled to go take on Guy Myers and the Carolina Cobras. That's going to be an intriguing matchup. But most importantly, we have another week of National Arena League action. Again, hope everyone's having a lovely evening here in the National Arena League. Matt, what stood out to you last week about the games? What are you looking forward to this week for the games? Because I got to go grab something. I forgot to grab something. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we look at last week's games, I mean, I really expected the Idaho-Carolina game to be a little bit closer than it was. But, Carolina looked like they were out there with something to prove. I'm sure they were a little bit, a little bit upset about the way things went down, against Omaha a couple weeks ago. And they came out there and they let it be known like how much better they seem to be than Idaho last week. So I was a little bit shocked and taken aback by that. I was also very impressed with the quality of football that we saw from the Colorado Spartans. They came into Omaha this last week and they put up a fight, and they really gave us everything we needed and everything we could handle, and Omaha did come out victorious, but it wasn't as easy as some may have thought it was going to be going into that game. So those were two things that stood out to me. What I'm looking forward to the most this week is that rematch for Oklahoma and Sioux City, and just seeing how much different this game is going to be based on the fact what we just heard from Coach Davis and the additions they've made to their roster.
Let me grab my pick'em title from last week because I won last week. So there we go. Because I picked Carolina, you picked the upset. That was kind of wrong. That was honestly, even though I won the pick'em title this week, I'll put it away. I'm not going to gloat. Pick'em champion from last week. I digress. That last week's game in Carolina really surprised me. But again, when you see teams trying to transition into a new rule set like we saw Carolina did, it looked like everything clicked. And Idaho coming all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast, that time difference does get to players. I don't care what people say. Well, it doesn't affect players. It does. Carolina just hit on all cylinders, and Carolina capitalized on turnovers. Guy Myers was comfortable in the pocket, and, of course, the receivers of Carolina started stepping up their game. There's a lot of things I look at Idaho and go, every drive they had during that game, they were trying to get something going, but something will always falter. Even if it was a penalty, misread, turnovers, and Carolina capitalized on every play. It was basically their rebound game from last week's loss to Omaha. Now, my opinion about the Omaha game in Colorado is going to be a dog in this league. They went toe-to-toe with Omaha, and honestly, besides the screenshot we had of Matt looking like he was pissed at the camera this past week, it felt like Colorado was going to go into Omaha and steal a W. That's going to be an intriguing rematch later in the year in Colorado. Just going to tell you that, Adam, Matt.
Definitely.
Adam. Why I call you? Oh, yeah, because we're talking about Adam Smith just a minute ago.
For sure. Yeah, no, I wish I was as good at football as that guy is, but no, it's definitely 100%. Coach Shaw had those guys ready to play. It was a crazy, intense atmosphere. Like, I've literally never seen a game where both teams had two different coaches that were confined to the bench. In fact, I've never even heard of that before. I didn't know that was a thing. So it was intense, and it was crazy, and the atmosphere was nuts. We had a ton of people in the building, and so it was a lot of fun. But yeah, Colorado, they're going to be a good football team.
And we have Justin Todd dropping by and saying that missing predictions is completely insanity and zero clear number one at this moment. He's right. Because we don't know what Sioux City has in store. They played one game followed by a bye week, multiple bye weeks. Now we'll get to see what they're all about starting this week. And as the schedule starts getting deep into the season, Colorado, even though they have that loss to Omaha, they're going to be an issue in this league. And we had Coach Davis on here earlier today on the episode, and I've seen the transaction wire. You can see it on NationalArenaLeague.com, the transactions. They look like they're going to turn a corner. They showed me in the first game that against, it looked like Sioux City was going to pull away in that second quarter, and they came and Oklahoma came roaring back, and it just felt like they ran out of time. And I look at this whole league, I go, Omaha is doing Omaha things. They still haven't lost. I think the last time they lost, Bill Clinton was office. It seems like you guys have not lost in decades, it seems like. Carolina, it seems like they're finding themselves already. It takes time for a team to adjust rule sets. And I look at Idaho and I go, they play well at home. They're a good home team. It's just that when they go on the road, there's some long road trips for Idaho. So when Idaho gets back on their slate in games at home, let's see if they can pull out a couple wins. Because if we've seen in the standings that I just showed here just recently, it's a bottleneck. Like there's no clear. Yeah, Omaha has a half game lead over Sioux City, but you have Carolina, Colorado, and Oklahoma City right there nipping at the toes of that 4 spot because ladies and gentlemen, the top 4 make the postseason. Because if the postseason start right now, you got the Colorado versus Omaha again, round 1. Give me that all day because that will be a very entertaining rematch if that is possible. But we're still early in the season. There's still a lot more competition to go out through a season. And of course, I mentioned earlier in the show that what you are in week 1 doesn't mean you're going to win a championship compared to the team who you're going to be in week 10, week 12, week 13 once we get into the playoffs. So there's a lot of football to be played in the National Arena League, no matter if you're an Idaho fan or a Colorado fan or Omaha, Sioux City, or Carolina who have been in this industry for not just a single season, but multiple seasons. So with that, let's do some little predictions for this week's games. Let's start, even though both games start at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, I do apologize. Let's get all the love and support for the game that we want to talk about. The start is Colorado and Carolina. We saw what Carolina was against Idaho, where they looked like when they had an extra week of practice and they get adjusted to the rules. No major injuries, luckily. But it looks like Guy Myers is starting to find his itch. But one thing I want to say about Colorado, they found their quarterback. That team is there's dudes on that team. Ford is a name, a couple players on that team. I have a feeling that this might be one of those games where you look at and go, are we seeing another Omaha versus Carolina situation? I love Carolina. I like their offense. Some people say I'm a big homer for Carolina. But I look at these two teams, and I'm going to say right now with all confidence, week 4 is going to be a chaos week in the National Arena League, a chaos week. I got Colorado going into Carolina and getting a dub because of one person, Coach Shaw, getting his revenge from getting knocked out of Carolina in the first round of the playoffs last year in the NAL. So Coach Shaw goes in there, gets a big W in Greensboro. It's going to be a close game. I think this is going to be the game of the week of the National Arena League. But I like Colorado with the upset. Colorado wins 41-38. Matt.
Yeah, it's a bold prediction. In my opinion, Jason Whitaker is a dog. He's a dude. That guy came into Omaha, that raucous environment, and he proved that he belonged. And he proved that he can play quarterback in this league. Very impressed with that guy. Very impressed with Troy Evans Jr., who I had never had the chance to see play live before. But, dude, Carolina is Carolina. I mean, and say what you will about Coach Shaw. He's a great coach. It seems to have those guys, ready to play and all that kind of stuff. But the Greensboro Coliseum is a whole nother animal when it comes to indoor football from what I've been told and from what I've seen. So it's hard for me to pick against Carolina at home, especially after what I saw against Idaho. But, Colorado and Idaho are two different teams. So if I have to make a pick, and I do because we're doing a pick 'em, I'm actually going to go with Carolina this week.
It happens, Coach. It happens. We got Coach Resinalo, former head coach of the Carolina Cobras, chatting on with another, but it happens. But yeah, Greensboro is how can you say this? I have seen good teams go into Greensboro and lay an egg. I've seen bad teams go into Greensboro and come out with a win. One thing I have not seen in Greensboro is Adam Smith not taking back a touchdown.
Yeah.
He's going to do that again.
Yeah.
Just saying.
The dude's just unreal.
That's the NAL. NAL is not the NAL without Adam Smith scoring a touchdown. Either kickoff return, punt return. There's no punts. Field goal returns or touchdowns or interceptions because he does play defense sometimes. He got credit with a pick 6 last season in NAL, and he told me that he didn't have an interception. So the NAL gave him an interception last year. So he's that good. He's even getting interceptions for a position that he doesn't even play.
I was just wondering like what punt return you saw and which league you were watching, because
yeah, we don't punt inside. But yeah, I got Colorado winning this game. I just have a feeling that what they did in Omaha just showed me that they're better. They're better than what I expect them to be at this point. I think Carolina, big win over Idaho. They're getting all their stuff out of the way. I just have a feeling that Coach Shaw just has to make little minor corrections in the game plan, and that having that same mindset and bring it to Carolina. I think if they keep the game close in Carolina, that doubt will go in Carolina's head, like, this is another Omaha situation. I just have, for some reason, I like to, put a fork in the garbage disposal and see what it does. Like, it's not going to be good, but I like to mess things up and talking about the league, so on. But the game of the week, we had Coach Davis on. The game of the week for Inside the Walls podcast this week is the Flying Aces traveling to the Sioux City Bandits. Again, this is the second matchup of 2. This is basically the 2 teams. These 2 teams have played each other once before. They've only played 1 game this season, and they're playing each other again. Matt, what is your observations of this game, your predictions for our game of the week?
Yeah, so this game for me is kind of interesting. When you look at Sioux City's roster, and rosters may or may not be accurate, but they have, according to their roster, 6 different guys listed on their roster at the quarterback position. So it's going to be interesting for me to see who actually suits up at quarterback. Will it be Scott Jensen again? We saw Jensen suit up last time, got his, I believe it was 200th career touchdown pass. Or will we see someone else? Maybe Tyler Lorenstein, maybe even someone else who's on the roster that, lining up at the quarterback position. Don't really know. We've heard lots of speculation, but we don't report on speculation here. So, so I'm interested to see what happens there. I mean, I know Fred Bruno is going to be ready to go. I know that Drew Prohaska is going to be ready to go. And I know that defense is going to be a solid defense. And again, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, it's really hard, as hard as it is for me to pick them. It's really hard for me to pick against Sioux City at the Tyson Event Center. I'm picking Sioux City in this one, but I'm going to say closer than the experts think.
Who are the experts, man?
Good question, but either way, closer than people think.
I think the only person else that's considered expert of the NAL is Ducon Williams, and he's not here.
That's true. Good point.
So you're telling did he already do a score prediction that I don't know about?
I don't know. Haven't talked to him today.
I was going to say experts. Like, we are the experts. You know what? I'm going to put that fork in the garbage disposal. I see you, Coach Rez, in that chat. I know you're trying to stir the pot. I'm going to stir the pot because you know what? One thing about me, I like to get everyone mad at me. Give me the upset. Give me Oklahoma City or Oklahoma flying into there. Flying Aces going out with a dub. Who cares, Coach Resnala, about the scoreboard? Bandits, he says win by 30. What we're trying to do here, Coach. We already know another coach in the IFL that said that he's going to win by 30, and it wasn't really pretty. So I like the Flying Aces in this game. You know why? Because they proved – I love the additions they have on the staff. We had Coach Davis on here early talking about them. I just feel like that extra week, you already know who you're playing, and it's hard to beat the same team twice, but it's also hard to beat the same team a week later. Again, yeah. Give me the Flying Aces in a close one, closer than experts predict. Even though I don't even know who Duke can't even pick, so I can't. I just want to steal that line. But right. I got the 2 upsets because you know what? Let's have fun. This is what the NAL is about. There's going to be some chaos. Eventually, there's going to be an upset in this season, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. How did that happen? We thought that last week in Carolina. We thought Idaho was going to be head and shoulders equal to Carolina. And Carolina just looked down like, who are you? Like, it wasn't really a game. And Omaha, big win in Carolina, had that emotional, you could say they had that emotional step back. And Colorado hit you guys in the face a couple of times. And then late in the fourth quarter, a key pick six was the determining factor in that game. Colorado was at your heels. So with Omaha having the bye week, you get to sit back and relax. And why not have chaos in the NAL? Does it get the lower tier teams to move up, or is there more separation? It's what we need. More parity in the league is better for the sport, better for the game, better for the league, in my opinion. So, Matt, we've been here for 40 minutes. Live shows are fun, but it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Coach Rez, what you're doing standing up? Like, bruh, you need to go chill out Generations, my friend. Apparently, that's your area to go. But, Matt, any final words before we set this show on the road and let our fans get some rest and get ready for week 4 of the NAL?
No, but I fully agree with everything you said, Jim. It's going to be a wild week this week. Could go either way with either one of these games, but I picked with my heart, and I'm really excited to watch this. It's a huge weekend. You know, we got the NAL week 4, we got WrestleMania, we got all kinds of cool stuff going on this weekend. So TVs are going to be moving and working. So yeah, enjoy the game, guys. Enjoy the game.
Is that the reason why you guys are off this week? You convinced Ricky to get this week off because of WrestleMania? Is that the reason why? Are you sure?
Pretty sure Ricky's not a wrestling fan, but.
Oh, okay. Conspiracy. Got to put the tinfoil hat on. But everybody, hope you're having a blessed day. Hope everyone had a nice Easter with your family. We'll be back next Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. We will be joined by Ducon Williams, and we'll have another exciting guest for you from the NAL for week 5. And remember, we won't be doing recaps next week. We'll give that to none other than the greatest of all time, Ducon Williams of Around the NAL. He has another show dropping here pretty soon, maybe tomorrow. And knowing what he does, he's the greatest. He does 10 times better work than me. Well respected in the industry. Tune into his stuff on Around the NAL. That's Matt. I am Jim. This has been episode 141 of Inside the Walls podcast. Enjoy the weekend, folks. We'll see you next week for more NAL actions as we break down week 5 of the National Relay League. God bless everyone. Be safe. We'll see you next week.